What's going on, guys? It's Jamie, aka the FUT Economist, coming at you guys today with a winter one to watch preparation video. Today we're going to be talking about three main things. The first is what is the winter one to watch promotion? What happened last year? What can we expect to happen this year? The second is how you guys can make some investments right now to make yourselves a bunch of coins, and trust me, there's some good investments to be made right now. And then the third is we'll talk about maybe some of the predictions for who might get a winter one to watch card come early February when we're going to see this promotion. So let's get right into it. I'll hop over onto the PowerPoint that I've created and we'll go into presentation mode. So as you guys can see on your screens right now, this was the winter one to watch batch of cards that we got last year. Last year, the actual promotion was from the 3rd of February, Friday, February 3rd, until the 10th of February. So it was a full week promotion, and during that promotion, in packs, or the winter one to watch items that you guys just saw on the screen right there, they were in packs the whole time, obviously as their winter one to watch cards, replacing their regular cards in packs, just like how any other promotion works. However, this year, if we were to base it solely on what they did last year, and again, this is subject to change, but solely on what they did last year, instead of the 3rd of February, we would expect it to come on the 2nd of February, just because of how the dates lined up in terms of like what day of the week it is. That we would just expect it to come on a Friday. It just makes more sense, like sort of, from a business and marketing standpoint, for EA to release it on that Friday and then have it run until the 9th of February. So it is around the corner. It's definitely want to be making our preparations as soon as possible. So apart from the one to watch items being in packs, what do we care? Like, why? How can we make coins off it? Well, to answer that, as you guys can see on the screen right now, they dropped 4 major SBCs. And these SBCs were similar to Team of the Week SBCs in the sense that you turned in a one to watch card, and in return you got another one to watch card, right? So they're in that sense like a Team of the Week SBC, where you turn in Team of the Week items. For the tradable ones in particular, you turn in a Team of the Week item and you get another tradable Team of the Week item back. This is like sort of following the same sort of blueprint, if you will. If we just want to go over them, they had both the summer and the winter batches of cards have an SBC, right? So the summer tradable challenge, we'll be taking a look at the makeup of each of the winter and the summer tradables, but those summer tradables were a little bit more sort of enticing than the winter ones, so their requirements was a little bit more expensive. You had a one to watch player, a Team of the Week player, a minimum rating of 84, and then the rest is sort of similar to like a Team of the Week requirement, so very low chemistry, and then obviously just the number of players was 11. Same kind of blueprint for the rest of the ones as well, although none of the other ones except for the summer tradable required an inform, which is something to take note of. Anyway, so just sort of looking at this broadly, some of the things you want to like sort of immediately jump out to you as potential requirements, potential investments if they do run this promotion again, are obviously one to watch players. That's the one that I think the community in general is focusing on. You can make the argument for Team of the Week players. One of the batches EA would have to consider that it's competitive enough to line up with the summer tradable, and as we'll see later, I do think you can make the argument that the summer tradable one that we have already, or the summer batch that we have already, is sort of equal in value or hype, if you will, to the summer one that we had last year, but we'll take a look at that later. So I do think you could make the argument for Team of the Week players as well. Obviously 82 through 84 rated players, maybe even 85 rated players, although 85 rated players are more already inflated right now because of the requirements for the Icon SBC, so I'd stay away from that, but again, we'll get into that in a second. And then, yeah, so those are the basic requirements, right? So now let's take a look at some of the prices of those requirements. Right now, just right off the bat, I do want to actually quickly back up, right? So the prices of these one to watch items last year, when they dropped these SBCs, went up significantly. So as you guys can see here, I have 2 examples for you. I have Allison, who virtually did nothing all year in terms of his one to watch, but when this SBC dropped, he rose all the way up to 57k on Xbox and 61k on PS. Now, he was actually, believe it or not, one of the players that rose the highest, just in terms of just purely based off of the demand for this SBC. As you can see, Bashawai only rose up to 54k on Xbox and 58k on PS, which was sort of interesting. Another thing to note, and this is sort of interesting, the prices of these one to watch items reached their peak 2 days into the promotion, and you'll see later that the other cards didn't reach their peak until later into the promotion, and I'll talk about why in a little bit, but that's just something to keep in mind. And then the next sort of requirement that we were talking about, I didn't put the Team of the Week requirements on here, by the way, because they didn't move a whole lot. And then this year with how many 81s there are, and then you know, you could, I would sort of stay away from Team of the Week, like low-end Team of the Week investments, unless you can get them for discard. Anyway, 83 rated gold cards. They were another one similar to, as you guys can see, basically just going throughout like Kagawa. You spike in price for the Team of the Week SBC, back down, spike in price for the Team of the Week SBC, and then for this one to watch SBC, similar sort of thing. It was just a little bit lower than the spike that you saw for the Team of the Year, but I would say that because of the prices that we've seen this year and compared to what they've gone last year, for example, you can expect the players this year, the 83s that is, to get up to similar prices for this one to watch promotion. And now I do want to point out again, as I was saying just a second ago, the prices of these guys peaked at February 8th and February 7th, which is later than the actual one to watch cards. Now I think the reason for that is like sort of a twofold. One, the 83 golds have a lot of supply on the market, so whenever there's an SBC, like that's the name, whenever there's a repeatable SBC that comes out, it's going to take some time for people to sort of unload their club's, you know, saved up storage, if you will, of 83 rated gold cards, because they're probably going to have a bunch in their club already, and it's not until people start dipping into the reserves of their club or going out on the transfer market that you're going to see the prices of these guys start to rise. So you have to be a little bit patient when you're waiting for the likes of the 83 rated golds, the 84 rated golds, the 82 rated golds, etc., to rise if you have a repeatable SBC. Whereas with the with one to watch cards like this, whose supply is generally a little bit lower, they're the kind of cards that can spike up immediately when the hype is really high for an SBC, and then as the hype source starts to taper down towards the end of the promotion, that's when their price starts to, you know, fall off sharply. So timing the selling of, like, it basically is just a different timing of the selling. That's something that you guys, as we get closer to the event, we can talk about, like sell dates and stuff like that, and come out with separate videos. So we don't necessarily have to worry about that now. It's just something to keep in mind because it's applicable for basically any SBC. And then finally, we'll talk about the 84 rated golds as well. This year, the 84 rated golds are a little bit different. They are already kind of at these prices right now because of the Icon SBCs. I'm sure there's just a little bit of room to get in on them, but I do think that the greener pastures, if you will, are in the 83s. Okay, so now we're going to talk about one of the important things when we're talking about the rise in price of these different investments is how hyped up people would be to do a SBC. If you think back to when we had the Team of the Week 18 SBC, the actual prices of the 83s didn't really get that high because the desire, the Team of the Week 18 like was not that good, right? So the desire to do that SBC wasn't high. Obviously, the demand for the 83 rated golds that would be useful for that SBC wasn't as high, so the price didn't rise as much. So you can make that same sort of argument for this one to watch SBC. So that's why it's important. We're going to take some time now to compare the competitiveness of the one to watch batches that we had last year, and then the one to watch batch we have had this year, and then the potential one to watch batch that we're going to have coming out in early February. So taking a look at the summer batch of one to watch that we had in FIFA 17, it was obviously very competitive. You had the likes of Pogba, Renato Sanchez, if you guys remember, was like for some reason unbelievably good last year, so he was someone that people always wanted, you know, just in case he got an inform. Dembele, even though he was hurt, when he did get his informs, people were very excited about him. He was a phenomenal player last year. Higuain just kept getting informs, so he was someone that people had an eye on. Conte was another one that people really liked. Mane was fast, Sane was fast, so those were, you know, people kind of excited about them. And then Mbolo was another one that people really liked, and just because he was a phenomenal player. Nick 28T was someone that was sort of his one of his biggest fans, if you will. So that's the one to watch for last year during the summer. Now this year during the summer, I think you could make the argument that it's just about as competitive, if not more competitive. Someone like Walker, Bonucci, Rodriguez, Salah, Neymar, Lacazette, Mbappe, I mean, Semedo, like they really went, with a pretty heavy-hitting batch of one-to-watch cards this time around. And I think you could make the argument that when we think back to the requirements that we had for the tradable one-to-watch promotion, that we're probably going to get something relatively similar. 84 rated, maybe even 85 rated, require maybe like an inform or some other special card. That's another thing too. Just invest in in really any other like special card that you can think of, because there's a chance maybe they're not going to do an inform requirement, but a team of the group stage hero card requirement, whatever it is, right? Now I don't know if they would do that. They'd probably make it like a wider breadth of special cards, so maybe they could do team of the week, hero cards, and team of the group stage cards all as like an option, because if they were to pinch just like team of the week or hero card, or if they were to pinch team of the group stage or hero cards, the prices would go everywhere. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent. I think the point is, I think you can expect to see similarly competitive requirements if we were to get a tradable one to watch SBC for the summer edition again. So now let's move on to the winter. The winter one to watch edition from last year, FIFA 17, really wasn't that great. And the only one that was really that kind of exciting was Jesus, maybe Draxler. Honestly, Payet, the demand for this was not that great, and as you can see from the requirements, if we just want to scroll back very quickly to the requirements for the winter untradeable, it was 81. Untradeable is 81 overall. You could get that done very, very cheap. And then the winter tradable was 83 overall. Again, very, very cheap, almost at the cost of a Team of the Week SBC. But this sort of winter is going to be a doozy, or at least is shaping up to be a doozy. You already have confirmed, well, not confirmed, but very, very likely to have someone like Coutinho, Mkhitaryan, Van Dijk, Sanchez, Diego Costa. There's other big transfers that could happen. Someone like Aubameyang could go to Arsenal. There's rumors flying around about that. So it could be a very, very exciting year for winter one to watch for FIFA 17, and this could even require some of the same sort of requirements as the likes of the summer tradable ones that we saw last year. So this could be a good year for investments and stuff like that. Moving on to some of the prices of the investments, obviously. Other people know about this investment. It's a popular investment, so that's something you have to be wary of when you're making your actual purchases. Let's look at the prices right now. So as you can see on that 7-day graph, the prices of these one-to-watch cards as a whole have risen over the course of the past 7 days. And the reason for that is people are just starting to talk about this investment. I am getting this video to you guys relatively early, so you guys still should be sort of in the clear in terms of making investments. But someone like Theo Hernandez, for example, I actually ended up buying him. Maybe some of you guys watched this during my Team of the Year video. He was down at like 19K when I told you guys to originally buy him. He's now at 27K. He's someone I still think has room to go up, but you just got to be a little bit careful because as you start and get into like the high 30s, the low 40s, if it does get to that before the actual release of the SBC, you're going to start to get to the sort of overbuying and then the overselling phase, right? So you just have to be sort of careful about overbuying. Now, one thing I would suggest if you're going to invest in some of these one-to-watch items is to sort of diversify your portfolio, if you will, just because you can actually kind of get lucky in just if you buy the right guy and they have a good performance and they actually are competitive for a Team of the Week item, you guys can kind of sort of hit the jackpot in that sense. If, for example, a while ago I invested in Aurier as well because I knew he was sort of below the range of what like some of these one-to-watch cards could potentially get to during this this one-to-watch promotion, and he got an inform shout, rose up to 60K, and I was able to sell a bunch of them all on early. That's something that you guys can do. I mean, look at someone like basically everyone from like Hernandez through Bernardeschi, like are reasonable, I think, prices right now, and all ones you can sort of diversify your portfolios with, right? And now another thing in terms of like buying and selling these one-to-watch items and sort of like when to time it, this one-to-watch promotion caught us off guard last year. We didn't know that we were going to have it. We didn't know that we were going to have an SBC that required these items. Everyone knows that there's a potential for it to happen this year. So this is the sort of promotion where you might want to consider selling into the hype. I do think these guys are going to get really, really hyped up. I think the prices are going to rise. So you just have to be sort of wary of like, again, at what price you're buying them at. Like, as you can see, they've risen over the past 7 days. Know that you're buying at a bit of a premium right now. You're buying other people's investments. And also know that, there's the potential, like some of the investments that we've seen in the past with like the 83 overalls and stuff like that, to have overselling on the first couple days, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. Now let's go to the 83s and 84s. 83s I still think are good prices. I mean, they're at a minimum. Say like this SBC doesn't come at all. 83s are always a great card to put massive amounts of coins into, because when you have repeatable Team of the Week SBCs or repeatable one-to-watch SBCs, I mean, these guys are the kind of cards that will rise up in price pretty consistently. Obviously, from the sell-off from Team of the Year, these guys are actually down pretty cheap right now, so I do think they're in a decent range, and as you can see from that 7-day graph. I still think you guys are in great shape. And then the 84 rated players are in sort of like a similar situation. So these are the kind of guys that I can see getting up to like 5, 6K during this promotion. Nothing like sort of outrageous when it does actually drop. It's going to be dependent on whether or not the overall rating requirement is leaning more towards special cards or overall. So that could be sort of big determinant. These guys are more of a risky investment if you're just solely looking to invest in these guys for the one to watch promotion, although you can sort of hedge your bets a little bit with these 84 rated guys because they're the kind of cards that you can hold for icon SBCs as well. So that's something that you can sort of fall back on. But yeah, so that's pretty much just going to do it for this video, boys. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, I would appreciate a like rating. If not, leave a dislike rating. But yeah, that's pretty much been it. If you guys are new around here, make sure you guys subscribe. Coming out with a lot more helpful trading and investing tips. But yeah, other than that, it's been Jamie, aka the FUT Economist. Keep your trade powerful, stay rational, and I'll see you guys in the next video.